All right, hello everyone. Today I'm here with Bobby, the co-founder of Dupe, and he's on the leading charge of the internet capital markets trend. He gave a talk at Accelerate, Solana Accelerate, with Imran Khan from Alliance DAO. And Bobby, it's really good to have you here. I'm excited.
For sure, man. You've been banging on my door for a month. I figure, you know what? I met you in person. You seem legit. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Yeah, how's your day been going so far?
It's Memorial Day weekend. Kids are playing some volleyball. I'm drinking a little lemon water and wine, and after this, I'm gonna cook some burgers.
Oh man, that sounds
So
wonderful.
so American.
That sounds awesome. For people who don't know, can you give us a little brief overview of who Bobby is and what you're all about?
Who Bobby is or who Dupe is?
Who Bobby
Bobby
is? We want to know
Bobby is
Bobby.
just some guy on the internet who believes. You know, he's holding strong and keeps taking swings at building cool fucking companies. You know, like that's my gestalt. Uh, my whole thing is like I'm an entrepreneur. I love building companies that save consumers money. So Dupe saves consumers money. The company I started before this in orthodontics called Candid with a group of friends was about bringing down the cost of orthodontics by like 80%, save people money. Before that, I was head of design and growth at WeWork to help people save money on office spaces. You know, so like saving money is the trend. Bobby is your deal daddy.
I
That's the way to
love
think
it.
about
Bobby's the deal daddy. I love
it.
saving
I'm the deal
money.
daddy.
So,
That's the way to think about me.
yeah, and for anyone who hasn't tried it out, go look at dupe.com and go do some shopping on there. You'll see that it's a really nice product and that you can get good deals on there. Um, so you gave us a little bit about what you were before Dupe, what you were doing, and then how did that like path lead you to here?
Uh, I'm like always like to look for opportunities of the moment. If there's money to be saved and the market's big enough and the hunger is dire and the innovation is lacking, I like to kind of pounce on it. And so for Dupe, we saw people like the internet needs deals. Everyone's more broke than before. You know, inflation kind of wiped most of the consumers out. Now tariffs is doing that. And then there's like obvious things that are happening in the market where most of the products are not made in the United States. You know, they're made overseas and marked up like they are made in the United States. And like, you know, in the famous words of Amazon's Jeff Bezos, your margin is my opportunity. And we see so much opportunity in getting people closer to, you know, the factory style deal on products that they buy. And yeah, we just saw a massive market opportunity. We also like wanted to build a better version of Google Lens. Like Google Lens kind of sucks. You know, it's a lot of spam, a lot of bots, a lot of bullshit websites, like, you know, fake websites and stuff. And we just said, well, if you verticalize Google Lens and you hyper curate it and you give it a better experience, is that a really big business? And we feel like it is. And so that's why we started Dupe about a year ago.
I love it. And for people who aren't familiar with what Dupe is, could you give us a brief overview of like what the company does and what the value proposition is?
For sure. So Dupe is the deal unlocking price engine. We are all about our. So I put up a tweet like a week and a half ago. There's a Japanese concept called the ikigai, right? Like, what do you love? What does the world need? What should you get paid for? And there's like one other thing. And it's like, well, for us, it's we love deals. The world needs deals. People pay us for deals, right? And boom, like we're about deals. So Dupe is the front door for deals on the internet. In its perfect state, the world at large comes to Dupe when they're looking for deals. And we're not quite there yet. I mean, we are very far now in our journey. In the last year, we've got 1 million monthly actives. We have a ton of mind share. We have a killer domain, a great product, but like we're like 1% of the journey in. There's so much work to be done on that front. But Dupe, in a nutshell, is a visual similarity search engine. Right now, you can put up any product. You know, most people use it for furniture and fashion. You can do it for most other products as well. And we will find you better deals on the internet for the exact product that you're looking for or something like it. And every day the algo gets better. Every day the product gets better, gets more seamless, more frictionless. And I think that's the other thing too, is like Dupe, the first, kind of the first principle of Dupe is remove friction, get people to value as quickly as possible. And if we could do it at zero in like zero time, we would. So we don't even force people to create an account. We don't need them to sign up. It's like a public utility. It's like a public water fountain. You just go hit the button and water pours out of it, right? And so for us, like we really look at Dupe as a public utility. Everyone should have access, whether they want to stay anonymous or not.
Yeah, that's an interesting design choice to make it so like accessible that and frictionless to access that you don't need an account or anything. Is there a way to create an account and like get that like your power users into your funnel more?
Oh, they do. They do every day. Yeah, like people sign up all the time. And actually, we're going to be using Dupe Coin, which we launched 28 days ago. We're going to be using Dupe Coin as a reason to sign up because we're going to show you once you run a deal search. It's like, hey, you just earned 300 Dupe Coins. Don't you want to sign up to claim it? Like this would be, and if they don't sign up in that session, we'll just burn it. Everybody wins, except the person who doesn't sign up because they made a stupid decision.
I love it. Nice. You got some flywheel effects in the works there, huh?
It's so funny, dude. Like everyone in crypto is just like mental masturbating on the word flywheel. Like, just chill out, guys. Like, come on. It's like, did we just discover this word?
Yeah, that's how crypto Twitter is, especially. People just say words and then they get repeated and repeated just for the fun of it.
Yeah, there are flywheels. There are flywheel effects in the tokenomics of Dupe, but like, do we need to really like speak it to life and belabor it? I think it's like pretty obvious. And so, like, we want the smartest people to own Dupecoin, and so if we have to explain that, then like that's for the low IQ crypto Twitter. We want the smart crypto Twitter, which I think we're getting, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Sorry, that also sounded like super arrogant. It's just like annoying to see that word 1,000 times a day. It's like, dude, yeah, I know. It's an old idea. It's an old concept. Flywheels.
Yeah. So far building Dupe, what have you had any really hard days that you would want to share with us?
Oh man, we've had really hard days. Do I want to share the details of those days? Well, how about like Dupe came out of a really hard day, right? Like Dupe was a pivot off of our previous product called Carrot, which was a much more full-fledged shopping app. It had wish lists in it, like cashback. It had this Dupe function. It had a whole bunch of stuff in it. We were 4 months away from running out of money, and Dupe.com was our Hail Mary. Like we burned all of our cash buying the domain, just like making sure that we can take the biggest shot. And it all just made so much sense to us when we saw the product. We knew that this had to be the name because when people see the name and they use the product, it's like an instant, their brain just makes that connection and they tell their friends about it. And that paid off. But that was a Hail Mary. Like that could have gone sideways. We might have ruffled some feathers of some very big players in the space who have tried and failed to kill us. No names shall be named, and you guys would know all the companies. But now it's like the vast majority of the ecosystem, most brands want to participate in Dupe because they realize, like, oh, you're saying someone comes to Dupe with a competitor product. We have the same product, and and this like user doesn't know that we have it, and Dupe merchandises it at the moment that this user needs it. That feels like a very valuable product. And all of these brands now, want to come in and participate in the ecosystem, and they're crushing it. They're making so much money from us. We're driving so many freaking clicks. There's a whole like super high quality clicks as well. So our brand thesis is playing out, but the early innings was not easy. Like we had to explain it to people, Mm-hmm. But they finally got it. But that's like the job to be done. You're a disruptive upstart. You've built something entirely new. It's incumbent on us to kind of teach the ecosystem how we are accretive to value back to them. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the pivot went so well and that you guys created such a great product. It's not over till it's over. Can you share any revenue milestones or usage milestones that you're proud of and you want to share?
Yeah,
I mean, or are there any other traction signals that you want to talk about?
Yeah, like we're not going to share our revenue numbers, but we're having a record revenue month now. We still have 4 days on the clock. We already beat that, the record, which is awesome. Our like a KPI that we track is like, what is the commission rate that we make from brands, and what are the margins that we make on product sales. That's pretty close to a record, only being beat by November of last year, which makes sense because it's like the holiday season and brands incentivize companies like us a lot in the holiday season. So that's like a pretty big one. Our app retention for the last like 7 weeks has been going up, which is awesome. We've made some new choices on like basic things like the sign up flow, like what are we showing you in the sign up flow? How are we? I actually just put up a tweet of a push notification that we send in the app when you go shopping online with our Safari extension on your phone. We can see the product that you want and we'll find it for you in the background for less, and we'll send you a push notification. Like that kind of stuff is getting people back to the app more often. Yeah, like there's like a lot of stuff that we're super proud of right now, and we're doing it with like a really small team too, which is mind-boggling. Like people think we are a lot bigger as a team than we actually are. Like in seriousness, like how big did you think our team was? I think I told you how big we are now, but like how big did you think our team was when you first saw the?
I would have assumed at least like 30 to 70 people to make like a website like that, function really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought significantly more than what you told me.
Yeah, and we're 4 people, so it's just like, man, that's incredible. Like I'm super proud of that. We're very cash efficient, and we're cash flowing as a company, which I think is awesome. And we were cash flowing pretty much out the gate, so a lot of our hypotheses played out very quickly, and we've been able to double down on it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, staying lean is important.
Yeah.
If you can you break down like the Dupe token distribution right now? Do you know how much is locked, and how are you thinking about like the long-term supply?
Yeah. So we own now about 18% of the supply, a little over 18%. It's like 18.3% or something like that. The way that worked early on, all of the tokens were locked. And then at some point, I think the Believe team was just pressured by every other company to unlock the tokens. And they basically airdropped the tokens to all the founders. So now like half of our supply is not locked. But we immediately put it into a multi-sig wallet because it was sitting in a hot wallet for a little while. And I was like, man, this is like super risky. I got to get this out of here. And so we put it into a multi-sig wallet, but I would like to lock it all up again. Like so we're working with the Believe team to figure out how to do that. There are some accounting implications to how we go about it. But like, I don't want to touch our Dupe supply at all. Like that is, that's like, I want to get up to 25% of our supply holdings, which I think we'll be able to do soon.
Love it. Love it. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
How are you aligning the product growth with the token utility? How are you thinking about that at the moment?
Yeah, so we have amassed like a really large marketing budget through the token. Growing the top line of Dupe.com will feed into the volume on the token because we're building our, the checkout rails. We already announced, with HelioPay. This is the thing. It's like we don't like to be too braggadocious every day, like pumping, people up and saying, oh my God, we're doing this, we're doing that. But like we are working in silence. Like there's like real work takes time. You can't just talk about it every single day. But over the last couple of weeks, we worked with the HelioPay team, HelioPay, SolanaPay, MoonPay, that whole ecosystem to get our tokens introduced as a way to pay. So that's like one way the tokenomics is going to work is people will be able to pay using Dupe, and then 10% of those funds will be burned at the end of every transaction. The other is we're working on this right now where, we have these like I'm calling it like earn packs where you have to accomplish 3 or 4 different things. Like you need to sign up, install our app, install the extension, and run 3 deal searches. And when you do that, you get like 5,000 Dupe points. But you have to do all of them. So the pack, we want you to do all of it because we know that when you do all of it, you're going to be a sticky user. And then it's, the second earn pack would be something like usage volume. Like, the first time you'd run a dupe, you get some set of Dupe coins. Then when you run 10 dupes, 15 dupes, 20 dupes, what have you, we'll just keep leveling up your Dupe coins. We're also thinking about doing a raffle. That could be really fun. We're actually doing the math on this morning, where you have to be a signed up user with a Dupe token in the last week earned, and you'll be entered for some dollar value, like $1,000 that week or something, $1,000 that week as like an airdrop from us. But you need to have met certain criteria to be part of that raffle. Like there's all sorts of stuff that we're going to do where the token and the business are going to be able to dance together, which I'm pretty excited about.
That's exciting. Yeah, that's one of the things I love about crypto. You can do all these kind of unique financial engineering like plays, basically.
Yeah,
you can do so many different things with the tokens.
Yeah, it's like financial engineering, but with the main cause being kind of retention, which is what we want in our product. Like we want people to be, inviting friends is something that companies pay for, and we have CAC in our business. We have marketing that we spend on. And so I think this is another thing that we're going to be doing as an earn pack, like the number of friends you invite equates to some amount of Dupe tokens. So I love this idea of earn packs. I actually think this is going to be copied by a lot of people. I don't love the idea of giving people Dupe tokens for every action all the time, because then you're just airdropping tokens all day. We actually want very high quality actions and like really high quality users. And I think earn packs make sense.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's say that a Web2 giant offers to buy Dupe today. How would you value the company? And then what metrics would you use to defend that valuation?
So first, we're not for sale. So just to be very, very clear. Second, we've had multiple Web2 giants try to buy Dupe, and we have turned them down in the last 12 months. Third, I think the valuation would be $1 bazillion. In fact, might be a trizillion or a quazillion dollars. I don't know. It's hard to hard to know. No, it depends. Are they basically buying out a competitor and removing pieces from the chessboard? Because that is worth a lot of money. It's not going to be multiples of revenue or something like that. We're just way too early. It would have to be a significant return on investment. I mean, the thing is, it's really hard to get momentum behind your company. And when you have momentum behind your company, the last thing you want to do is sell. Selling is bearish. Like selling is bearish. And our team has a clear kind of path on where we want to go. Being the front door to deals on the internet is a really big vision. It's worth a lot of money. It's definitely quantifiable, for sure. It's quantifiable, but it's not through the rigor of like public market comps. Like it's not going to be, oh, well, this company's worth, their public stock is worth 15x, revenue or EBITDA or something like that. And it's like, well, that's not us. Like we're not a public company. It's hard to comp us against that. It would have to also be the right fit. So the company that's buying us needs to have the right mentality for our product, the right vision for our product, and it would need to return significant capital to our investors. So all that said, we are not for sale and won't be for the foreseeable future, because we are very, very early in our journey, and our team has a lot of stamina and a lot of excitement around Dupe in general. I hope that.
I love it.
I don't know if that satisfies the.
Yeah,
question.
It does. I think it's a very clear way you put it. I think selling out would be selling you guys short, and
yeah,
like you're right. You can't really value a startup like this that's gaining momentum and has like you can't value it because it's not just about revenue. It's about the momentum and the places you're going.
Yeah, you can value it. You just can't use public comps to value it, which is what, like that is bearish. And we also have like a ton of investor interest. And we have incredible investors in our company already who are willing to double down on the company. So we are, like, again, like if I'm looking to sell, that's bearish. Like I think that should be, that would be a red flag, really. So we're not looking to sell right now.
Yeah. Totally. Are there any integrations or product milestones that you're excited about coming up?
we're signing more brands as partners. We signed, my goal is to get, there are 3 Fortune 100 brands that we are not yet partnered with that I think we'll get before the holiday season. So that's first. Second, launching our own product line. I'm spending a lot of time in Asia, unlocking factories, making sure that we can sell first party to consumers. So that I think is going to be a really big deal. And the way that we price it is going to be factory direct. So if you think about, like let's say a piece of furniture, which is our bread and butter right now. Won't be in the future. In the future will be a lot more, but furniture is a bread and butter right now, right? So a factory somewhere in Asia makes a desk, or let's say that chair right there, or that lamp for X dollars. Let's say that lamp gets made for $50, right? It's washi paper, metal, and a little bit of wood around the rim, right? So, okay. A brand would then go in and buy 1,000 of those lamps, and they would get it for $75 or $80 from the factory. They then need to transport all of those lamps, warehouse them, distribute them, hold them in kind of a retail footprint, then market them. And by the time the consumer sees that lamp, that $50 lamp costs $700 on the market. Right? So you're 10xing, 12xing the cost. And let's be generous. Maybe it's 5xing, maybe it's 6xing. The point is, a consumer should be able to get that for the same factory price that the brand got it, without needing to buy 1,000. So instead of a brand buying 1,000 lamps for $70, where the factory makes $20, a consumer can buy 1 lamp for $70. And that's what they're going to be able to do with our factory direct product. And that's what we're setting up, factory direct pricing. It's going to be a huge break the internet moment. Like that at Dupe, it's all about breaking the internet. Every single year, we're thinking about what are we launching this year that's going to break the internet. Factory direct will break the internet. And what's interesting about all of the marketing dollars through Dupe Coin flowing back into our SOL fees flowing back into the company's marketing budget is it opens up the top line volume, which gives people more ability to earn Dupe Coin, buy with Dupe Coin, get even better discounts with Dupe Coin. So all of that stuff is baked into it. Those are the integrations I think that we're really excited about. We're also redoing our whole app to be very much deal focused. So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done. Not to mention, of course, integrating the token into our website more wholly, which is something that we're doing as well.
Nice. Lots coming. I love that you can get factory direct deals. That's definitely the place to go. I would love that. What are some connections you've made since joining the crypto industry? You came in here in a flash, and now you're already speaking at Solana Accelerate. That must have been a wild ride, and I want to hear about some of the connections you formed, some of the friendships and cool people you've talked to, and what that was like to be received by the crypto community.
I mean, starting with the Believe team, which has been awesome, and not just the core product team, even their investors like Imran, who interviewed me on stage at the Solana conference, has been a resource that we've tapped quite a bit because he's got a deep network. One of the most surprising things to me is how smart so many of our whale holders are. And they showed up to the event. Actually, you met a few of them at the Dupe party that we had after the event. The amount of insights and feedback that we get from these folks has been incredible. And remember, I'm new to crypto. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. And, they're giving me a sense of like, here are the kind of tripwires that you don't want to step on. Here's how you think about tokenomics. Here's how you think about founder incentives and shareholder incentives, et cetera, et cetera. And I think like they're opening the aperture of our understanding of crypto, not just for the tripwires, but the opportunities as well. So those connections have been very fruitful. We've met a lot of liquid funds who are super interested in Dupe as a company. I didn't even know this was a thing until 3 weeks ago. And now a lot of them have just kind of lined up to talk to us. Some of them showed up to the Dupe party to meet us in person. We have met folks like, folks on Fullport, Ansem, CK, stuff like that. I guess, I don't know, would they be considered KOLs? I think they would be considered KOLs, right? So, and a lot of them are holders of Dupe long term. They invite me to Telegram chats with their smartest friends who are then giving us input into products. So there's a network effect there. I met the founders of Solana there, Raj and Toli, and they're big fans. They're like huge supporters of Dupe. They're definitely kind of pumping us. They want to show, the ability of Web2 founders, or they want to show the kind of natural fit for Web2 founders in the Solana ecosystem, and using Dupe as a launch pad for that, I think, has been exciting for them. And it's been fun to watch them share a lot of stuff about Dupe. So those connections have been really, really interesting. And then just the general community that we've built around the token, around the coin, where people are marketing on our behalf 24/7, writing, long threads about why this thing is, I'm not allowed to say that it's undervalued. And by the way, I'm not even allowed to pump our stock. Just to be very clear, I've been very careful about the things I'm able to say. Their words, undervalued, under the radar, people are fading it, blah, 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 blah. Which is all like, I wake up in the morning, I see it, I'm like, ooh, that feels good. Thank you. Thank you for that pat on the back. I didn't ask for that. You didn't have to do it, and you did, and now it feels good, right? So stuff like that is, I think, for the last 3 or 4 weeks has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, sounds like very positive. Some people in crypto can be mean because they're anonymous and they just say nasty things. But I'd say
to be clear, Nick, we've also had that, and there's some other coins that are now like, putting us in their content, which is a joke, because you're playing a zero-sum game at that point. Like, none of these coins compete with each other. They're all very different products. It's more, I think it's important to kind of stay in your lane, where the net effect or the end outcome is not really the coin, it's your product. Just focus on making your product better, and your coin will do its thing. But there's a lot of nasty people in crypto as well, for sure.
Yeah. But it's so cool that you just, like, I feel like everyone aligned to be on your side, and you're like instantly all these doors are opening and people are wanting to connect you with insightful people. I think that's really special about this industry. I can't think of another industry where that would happen, where you come into it fresh,
No.
then all of a sudden you're connected with the top dogs, you're speaking at, conferences to give your insight from the outside. That's just fantastic to see.
I agree.
What would you like to see the Believe team implement or do differently moving forward?
I was pretty vocal early on. I think they opened the floodgates a little too fast. Their team is very small. It's really important to maintain quality. I think Believe wins when their ecosystem of coins are great. And I don't know that there was enough of a foundation to kind of guarantee that up front. And, we had a lot of shitters kind of enter the space. Some of them got rugged. There were a few bad launches. And it's like, man, the Believe team is working really hard. They're, it's every time I message them, they're working. So they are definitely in the trenches, so to speak. But there are probably like a few things that I personally might do differently, but I'm not the founder of Believe. So, like I would make sure the first cohort of coins did, like, that Believe did everything possible to put them on a pedestal to make sure that they win, make sure the foundation's clear, make sure the rules are clear, make sure the coins get visibility, make sure the narrative is set. There's like a lot of like upfront things. And basically what's happened is the narrative has been either co-opted by the community to some degree, or competitors who have now entered the space. And, it makes everything kind of feel like, like they're fungible, like these platforms are undifferentiated. And I actually think the vision at Believe is differentiated, because Ben's focusing a lot on Web 2. It's very different to Pump Fund, for example, which I think is more of like a degen platform. And I think Believe is more about like trying to get real companies, real products into the Web3 ecosystem. And I think Ben has done a pretty good job of that. But there are certain things that I would personally make different choices. I'm also just a more careful person, because I don't know all the tripwires in crypto. I would just be a little bit more careful about what went out and how we message it. That being said, I think the last 4 weeks has shown like a pretty immense evolution of the messaging from the Believe team, and their investors have partaken in a lot of that. And they're stepping in to help Ben, because he's like so focused on the product that he's not really thinking about the narrative outside. At least I don't, like, I don't think I'm not seeing enough narrative from Ben. So those are kind of things that I would immediately think about. I still have certain questions that have not been answered, and I'm kind of in this like weird place of, do I want to bother these guys with a question that could be answered in a couple of weeks? It's not urgent, but also it's weighing on my mind. Like these are the kinds of things, like to me, if there are like 5 or 10 coins that launched in that first week that still have very prominent headspace in the crypto community, like those coins, like if I was steering the wheel, like I would be focusing on making sure that the founders of those coins have all of their questions answered, and we can use them as a foundation, as a bedrock for every other coin to look at what it means to be in the Believe ecosystem, how it's supported, how to enter, how to talk about your coin, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's the kind of quote flywheel, which I hate the word, the flywheel of people's understanding versus action, right? So like knowing what to do and then doing it lifts the entire platform. And I think the first couple weeks was just a little tough. From the tech side, to be clear, I think they are doing the thing that they need to be doing, which is building in APIs for engineers to go in and build value into the token. And they launched something last week around burning for it.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm curious to see how all the different projects use that new API. And yeah, I think they just have a lot of growing pains. I mean, they got hit with a wave of speculation and people coming in and wanting to launch thousands of projects like all of a sudden. Went from 0 to 100 really quick, And I think they're just going through those growing pains, and they're hiring new people.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see them grow their team and like be able to support those founders better. I think it's just a matter of time because they have a lot of really good people behind them. Like Ben is a smart dude, and they have a lot of support and connections in the crypto ecosystem and in Solana, to the Solana Foundation. And like you said, Believe is very different than Pump Fund. Pump Fund is for meme coins, it's for, random stuff, it's for anyone. But Believe is, it's more focusing on this Web 2 aspect of it, which I really like the differentiation. And they're playing different games. I think comparing them on token launch metrics or revenue metrics isn't really important. What's important is growing the pie. And these are very different verticals that are both meeting different needs.
They are. The problem is there's limited liquidity, and if you don't control where, to some degree how the liquidity gets distributed, you're going to have a lot of people get wiped out on shit that was very obviously shit that came into the ecosystem, And so, like we went from everyone can launch a coin to, okay, we're stopping everyone from launching a coin to we're going to let a few coins in to no, we need to stop again. And then it went to, fuck it, the gates are open. Everyone can launch a coin. Like that happened within 3 weeks. That's crazy. Like that's a lot. Like, right? Like that feels like
a lot of changes.
That's a really big change. And actually, I'm curious how they're making these decisions. And I think a little bit more transparency on that front would be pretty nice. But as a outsider looking at how that narrative shifted 4 times or 3 times in the span of a couple weeks, it sends mixed messages to the market. It questions like, okay, well, how should you be the arbiter of, high quality coins? To some degree, the community kind of needs it. Otherwise, anyone can launch a coin and rug it, and then actually your platform comes in and does a good job, I think, of figuring out, just to be clear, it was called is it Dash Crypto? What Dash Believe? What is
Dashcoin. So I rebranded it to Dashcoin Research, and I'm making the platform that people can go to see whether something's a rug or not, and to get a quick glance of the different research that I've done on the projects, so you can see different metrics. And like you, I really liked you. Because you're a docs team, like people know who you are. You've successfully built a company before. You have a product that exists and already has users, and all those things I think are important for people to see at a glance. And I want to put that together to help curate the ecosystem in my own way, because I think the Believe team, they're in this weird position where they don't want to have to pick favorites. And I think it's kind of on the community to try and help each other figure out what's real and what's not. And that's a big part of what I'm doing this podcast for. To give the founders a voice so we can, and then the holders and traders can see these podcasts and make their own conclusions on the founders.
Yeah, I think when I first saw Dash, I think my first tweet was, I feel like the Belief team should be launching this. Like it feels like something that should be spawned out of that team. But actually, the more I think about it, you're right. I don't think they can play favorites so that they will always be blamed about, oh, you're just making sure your friends get, you know, the most love or most points or whatever. So I get why they probably shouldn't do that. But something like that needs to exist, and I think you're doing a pretty good job of holding that up. So
Yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm passionate about it, and I have the luxury of focusing on this full time. That I can, do 6 interviews with different founders all in a few days. Like I can focus on this. It's really fun for me. And
yeah,
I appreciate the props, Bobby. Appreciate it.
it gives you energy. Yeah, I mean, look, the Belief team's crushing it. They're obviously doing a great job. They are the preeminent launch pad, but easy come, easy go. That narrative can go very quickly if we're not careful, and it's not entirely clear to me that just moving fast is the right answer. Like I think actually
Yeah.
taking a step back and controlling the narrative of what you want this thing to be seen as, and then showcasing the kind of the show ponies that encompass the future perfect state of Believe, if those exist, then doing that I think makes a ton of sense.
Yes. Well, so we're coming up at time here. I got 2 last questions for you, Bobby.
Yeah.
First, fast forward 10 years. What does Dupe look like if it fully succeeds? If your dreams come true, what does the world look like if you're right?
I think we will have accomplished being the front door to deals on the internet for the world. 5 to 10 years is a very long time. 30% of our traffic's already international. People have come to Dupe in places that we don't even market. They've heard about it. They need to try it. Everyone wants to save money. So we are the place on the internet where people save money. That would be an amazing outcome for us to have within 5 to 10 years. It's also like a very valuable company at that point. And yeah, being international is like another big thing. We want to make sure that, it's not just the US and Europe, like there's a lot of opportunities in Asia as well, and the Middle East as well. So there's a, yeah, like the perfect state is we have accomplished in people's brain through marketing and great product and great distribution that Dupe is the front door to deals on the internet.
Love it. Beautiful.
It's
I love
simple.
that vision.
Deals is our ikigai. That's what we want to be.
Everyone needs deals.
Everyone needs deals. And if we're not selling the product with the best deal, we will show you where to buy it. And in theory, both of those should make us money, which they will.
Yeah. And what would you say to every Dupe holder out there who's held through fear and FUD and drawdowns and market dips? What you got any messages for them?
Thank you for the support. I cannot give you financial advice. Do your own research and keep talking about Dupe. Let's get more people into our ecosystem to learn about Dupe. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your family. They'll all save money. You're going to look like a genius. They will thank you. And come and share their feedback with us on Twitter. But of course, at no point in this am I going to pump our stock or tell you to hold or keep holding or keep buying. That is entirely your prerogative. Which
Nothing
is, by the
discussed
way,
in this episode.
that is the only right answer. And anyone that gives any other answer is probably going to rug you. That is my honest take.
Yeah. Be very skeptical of founders who are just trying to pump the price all the time.
Yes.
That's for sure. And definitely, if you're a holder, get involved in the community. Talk to your friends that are also holders. Get ideas going. Send them on Twitter. Send them to Bobby. We need, this is a collaborative effort. It really helps to get everyone involved, and maybe your idea can help.
I will say one thing going back from 2 questions ago, the thing that I wish the Belief team did up front, which maybe they can do for future coins, is for all the fees generated, some percentage of it should just be going from every coin, should just be going into buying launch coin.
I was thinking about this earlier as well. Like, how can we make all of the tokens kind of integrate with each other and all uplift everyone? Because as a trader, I've seen someone mention that when Launchcoin goes up and there's a lot of attention on it, then, the success of Launchcoin trickles down to all the other projects within the ecosystem. And the opposite happens as well. If Launchcoin goes down in price, unfortunately, that's how it is in crypto, then the price of the rest of the ecosystem tokens also go down. And so to have some kind of mechanism to, yeah, like have us all win when one of us wins, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's, by the way, to be clear, I don't know that I would want to own any other coins outside of Dupe and Launchcoin, but it would be nice had we DCA'd into Launchcoin from the start when they were just like, in the gutter and no one was talking about them at 4 million MC or something. And now, of course, they're crushing it. What it basically does is it generates more fees for the Launchcoin team, and it gives all the founders a vested interest in Launchcoin succeeding, and it gives the founders liquidity regardless of whether or not their coin is doing great.
Yeah.
Right? And so they can choose to either buy more or sell more. Like it feels like that was a missed opportunity, and maybe they'll change that in the future. But it creates so much buying pressure on the Launchcoin coin, right? Like it just keeps that price either stable or moving upwards, which is great for the entire ecosystem. It just pulls, to your point, the whole ecosystem forward.
Exactly. Yeah, I really can't wait to see all the things that are going to change in the next few weeks. I feel like there's a lot coming.
Yeah.
That the Believe team is cooking up a storm, and they have so many great connections. They got, I mean, Nikita Beers is involved. We got Imran Khan from
Yeah.
Alliance DAO. We got people from the Solana Foundation. Akshay BD, I think he's at the Solana Foundation. He gave a great talk at Accelerate on internet capital markets. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, he went right.
And
He went right before us. Yeah, I watched it.
yeah, that was a fantastic one. I just feel like the stars are really aligning to make this a success.
Yeah,
So I'm just amped up, man.
awesome.
That's about all I have. Thanks for coming on, Bobby, and I look forward to keeping in touch.
All right, I hope you guys enjoy this and talk about Dupe. Go share Dupe. Tell everyone about Dupe. Thank you.
Get some
Thank you.
deals.
Get some deals. Thanks.